in the whole of this Aba, we don't have a single mass transit bus plying round Aba. The same in no more here. If I were the governor of this state, my intervention would be to say, wait a minute, the presidency has given me 5 billion. I don't want to buy rice. How many buses can I get with 5 billion? Non-luxurious buses, whether from Innocent or from any other place. How many can I get? Okay, let these 20 buses run in Aba, designate routes in Aba, designate routes in no more, internal routes, and solve problem number 1. Because by bringing those buses to the road, you are going to have to make sure that people are paying the lowest possible fees. What that does is to put money in their pockets. Instead of you giving them 1 cup of rice, on a sustainable basis, they will have money in their pocket. I thought the federal government would have done that. They defined that as part of what they were going to do. The governor of
Borno State did that.
Yes, I was going there. Yeah. The governor of Borno State showed that he was a born leader, or he is still a born leader. Not only did he do that, he used largely green vehicles, electric cars. Do you understand?
That will not need fuel.
That will not need fuel. That means the man is thinking. But in Abia, our own, just like Nigeria, entered voicemail. Even the palliative that we were supposed to distribute to the people, even the 2 cups of rice, how do you as a government deliver such things to political leaders for distribution? You don't do that. By giving it to leaders of your political party, whether you intended it or not, the message is clear. This rice is for members of our party. Whether you intended, it doesn't matter how many announcements you make on air. Once something enters the hands of political leaders, it is for politicking. Even if you are not going to use other means, what about the religious leaders? What about traditional rulers? Those institutions that are by nature at least pretentiously non-partisan. Because in these days and time, you even find partisan religious leaders, partisan traditional rulers. So, but where we are, the speech, like I said, was fair enough, but it didn't meet my expectations. The one in Abia, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
I think that's probably the best, the most measured speech made by the current governor of Abia State. Measured in the sense that he didn't commence on his usual note of rancor, of abusing his predecessors. I think the governor was still in his Christmas and New Year dress. So he was able to speak to what he wanted to do without attracting the usual response from us and from the rest of Abias. If you notice, every speech this governor has made from May 29 up to that last speech yesterday, the same thing will follow. That thing is all my predecessors failures, every other person failure, all the people in Abia corrupt, I'm the only saint. In fact, everything in Abia finished.
So what was different for you in the speech?
It was measured. It was more or less an invitation to conciliation. Not reconciliation, conciliation. You see, you get what you give. When you give out bad energy in a speech, people will return bad energy to you. If you notice, the People's Democratic Party did not return bad energy to him. They more or less kept quiet and said, okay, let's see whether this man has repented. They are waiting to see. But beyond that, he also fell short of delivering detailed intervention in terms of generation of hope for the populace to survive. And let's make no mistake about this. 2024 is going to be tough. It is the duty of government and leaders to prepare our people for a tough period that by the grace of God, our people will survive. I'm very sure that the people we have in Abia, they are hardworking people.
That's for sure.
I'm very sure that as long as our markets are open, as long as
the environment
people are able to move from one point to another, the good people of Abia State will come out triumphant. But whether there will be challenges in 2024, I assure you a lot of it coming. Now, when the governor delivered this speech, I again expected one thing. I have increased minimum wage. There is a reason why you use workers to deliver improvements in cash flow at family level. They are the only point from where government can release money and be reasonably sure that almost every family will be touched. At this stage, they should be your first prime target. Do you understand? to hit the system with cash that will allow our people to survive. Secondly, he failed fundamentally, by his own admission, on an issue that he should have at least met the concerned people halfway.
What's that?
Since May 29, this governor has been telling pensioners, wait a minute, I will pay off all your outstandings. I have calculated this outstanding. I know how much it is. He was banding figures everywhere. Oh, pensioners are owed so much, so much, so much. And then I'll pay you in December. He started paying them 30% of what was due to them. Yet they didn't complain because they were expecting that by December,
there may be a bigger surprise.
Everything will come together. Imagine you are a pensioner and you are probably expecting 5 million naira, for instance. You can manage 50,000 that he's paying you every month. Fair enough, the governor was paying less than 40% of our total pensioners. But he was not paying because he said he wanted them to verify. Even after verification, he was still not paying them. Post verification, these pensioners suffered to be verified, and after verification, almost all of them were being paid, but they were all hopeful. I am very sure that most of them lived in expectation of a bumper December from the governor. And then December came, left. January 1st, the governor said, see, there was a problem.
Conspired challenges, that was the exact word he used.
Conspired challenge, probably within his government, because this time around, in matters like that, there is no other person to blame. He cannot continue to function like Buhari at that time. You know, our governor has been functioning like...
He said he discovered a lot of things.
Now, whatever he discovered within his government. You can be sure of that. No longer with the same people he had previously said, did this, I've discovered this, I've discovered that. There are no discoveries to make. You see, the problem the governor will run into is time has gone to blame IKPEAZU. He has to find new target, new person to blame now. He spent the first 7 months blaming IKPEAZU, just like Buhari did to Jonathan. That time has passed because clearly there are fundamental challenges within the state that he has to tackle, including the fact that, contrary to what many of you believe, less than 60% of Abia workforce is receiving salaries every month. Aside from the 15,000 sacked, again, that brings me to Governor Zulum. You will recall when Governor Zulum said that he doesn't know how the governor of Abia State sleeps at night, that he cannot sack 15,000 at this time. Now, we sacked 15,000. We've not even bothered about the welfare of those people. To us, everything must be politics. All well and good. But those still in service, the major people our governor is paying regularly are the same people Governor IKPEAZU was paying regularly. Let me repeat it. The group of workers that Governor OTTI is paying regularly are the same people Governor IKPEAZU was paying regularly. The workers in the ministries. Right. It is a joke that sometimes people say, oh, IKPEAZU was owing them. He wasn't owing them. In fact, it was after IKPEAZU left.
It was the parastatals that...
It was after IKPEAZU left. It became obvious that even the local government people, what they had as a standing was 2 months. And that was because the state account was frozen. About 2 months to the exit of IKPEAZU, some elements around Governor OTTI contrived and went to Abuja and obtained a court order freezing the account of the state. How do you expect the man to pay? And it is one thing that worries me. I pray for Governor OTTI every time. I pray for him that his poison will not enter his own mouth. I'm sorry to use that language. His own poison against IKPEAZU. He needs to seek forgiveness from Governor IKPEAZU. I'm sure that you have heard about his budget and the planned borrowing of over 350 billion naira. What a lot of people don't know is that a substantial makeup of that planned foreign loan, because he said he was going to obtain through foreign and local, they are already with him. How?
I don't understand.
Before the exit of Governor IKPEAZU, I personally, John OKEZIE IKPEAZU, announced that we have full approval for our African Development Bank facility, and that we are looking at an appropriate time for us to start that project. Governor IKPEAZU was going to flag off one site in that project. We didn't find that time. That facility remained when we left. What Governor OTTI did was to go to the federal government through the Federal Executive Council to trigger it. And I remember Minister of Finance Edun saying that this is not, the Abia one is not a new facility.
I remember.
There is an old facility that they are just renewing. That money is the same money that those who work for Governor OTTI, they are claiming that they have attracted foreign investment. It is not. Capital importation is different from foreign investment. A loan is not an investment in that sense of foreign direct investment. I don't know if you understand my point. So he has that money with him. Now, this money, I don't know how many Abians that I remember that this money could have been used to develop Abia way back between 2017 and 2019. Dr. Alex Chomoti told a petition writer against the development of the state. He continued writing petition, continued visiting everywhere visitable. He visited Federal Ministry of Finance, visited the National Assembly to stop this facility. Why? The reason is simple. He believed that if Governor IKPEAZU has access to that money, that he will become a superstar governor. He knows, and I'm saying this publicly, that such facilities will never be looted by any state government. The reason is this. No, at no time will African Development Bank or the World Bank put money in the hands of a state governor or a state government. They will put it in their own account and they will be releasing it to their own contractors. You don't hire contractors for them. They hire their own contractor. Like when people say, oh, IKPEAZU hired Heartland for Ungwa Road, that's all. I say, no, it's not IKPEAZU. They have their international bidding process they use. So even this one that OTTI has acquired, it is one money he cannot steal and will never steal because he will never see the money. But he didn't tell the people the truth. He kept on writing petition. When they asked him, why did you do it? In fact, I remember an interview before the election that he granted. He said, I did it. I stopped the loan. Why won't I stop it? He gave two excuses. One, that there was already very high borrowing in Abia State. Now, mark this. According to him, according to Dr. Alex OTTI, during his inauguration, he said that he saw a total debt of about 160 something million. And in actual fact, that is all the liabilities of Abia State from the day Abia was created in 1991 to May 29, 2023. All that we were owing was around 170 billion naira. But in his 2024 budget, he has proposed to borrow 400 billion, at least 2 times what he condemned. And that is what worries me, because everything he condemned, he is doing. And that's why I'm praying for him.